It was late spring, but it wasn't summer yet. The weather was wonderful, but not hot. Just warm and sunny. On those days, I liked to spend time alone somewhere by the sea. And this day was no exception. I packed up and went to the coast. The shared beach and popular spots were packed. So I turned left and walked away from the noisy and annoying crowd. I knew where I was going. It was my secret place. When I found him as a child, I didn't tell anyone about him and came here quite often. I climbed over the boulders on the shore and found myself in a small cove. I crossed it and went into the cave. What was my surprise when I saw a guy in the cave. He stood and looked at the water. That's when I gave myself away, hitting the rocks with my foot. The guy turned to me and I was stunned. Instead of eyes, it had two large black holes, and its mouth was something like a beak with sharp fangs. I rushed to the exit, and she ran and ran until she found herself in a crowded place. I only came to my senses at home and thought for a long time about what or who it was. I went to bed after midnight, and lying in bed, I heard someone knocking on my window. I pulled back the curtain and saw a raven on the windowsill. He turned his head to me and I was horrified. Instead of eyes, there were only holes, deep black holes. I shied away from the window and couldn't scream or run away. I just stood there and looked out the window at the curtain. I woke up at night because it was cold. I sat down on the bed and saw that the curtains were fluttering in the wind. It turns out that the window was open. And then I saw him on the curtain. The raven sat and watched me. It became difficult for me to breathe. I was numb with fear. The bird flew to the floor, and the guy I saw in the cave was already standing in front of me. He was holding out his hands to me and smiling at me strangely and frighteningly. I fainted. I woke up in that cave. I do not know how much time has passed or how I got here, but I knew for sure that this creature was nearby. I got up and saw him. He was standing in front of me, watching me. I started asking him, shouting, why he needed me and what he wanted from me. Without waiting for an answer, I headed straight for the exit, but he blocked the way, pushed me away and I fell. He sat down in front of me and pecked me on the shoulder, then on the chest. It turned out to be painful. He began to pinch off small pieces of flesh from me. I screamed in pain, trying to escape. But it was no use. This creature turned out to be of fierce strength. In the morning, people walking along the coast came across the disfigured corpse of a girl. No one has been able to identify her, and no one could even guess who had abused her like that. Her body seemed to be covered in small wounds, and her face was unrecognizable. His eyes were missing altogether, and his mouth was twisted with pain and horror.